Thank you all very much for coming on the Sunday show. Max, since you're the newbie here, let me start with you. And have you listened to this video that was put in a fundraising email for former President Trump? Have a listen to this. We'll talk about it on the other side.
We're going to take back the Senate, take back the House. We're going to take back the White House. And sooner than you think, it's going to be really something special.
Max, sooner than we think? What? I almost cursed again on a Sunday morning with the Reverend here. But what's he talking about?
Well, you know, Jonathan, as with most of what, or a lot of what Trump says, like, what is he talking about is a very common question. I mean, who knows? I mean, clearly, it's very difficult for the rest of us to enter what is a delusional mind. But, you know, I would not write off what he is saying by just saying that he's living in fantasy land, because if we've learned one thing since 2015, it is that Donald Trump has a very powerful ability to pull millions of voters into his own personal fantasy. And in fact, what you're seeing now is that Republicans are acting in fairly disciplined fashion to bring about Trump's fantasy of retaking the House, the Senate, and the White House. They're passing voter restrictions. They've already passed voter restrictions in 14 states. They're advancing in 18 other states. The party that's out of power in the White House is normally favored to win in off-year elections. Not only are Republicans restricting the vote, they're also gerrymandering like crazy. And so, you know, the odds are certainly in their favor that they will win in at least the House, maybe the Senate too, in 2022. And with control of both houses of Congress. And this is, you know, the real nightmare scenario we need to be talking about. What happens if a Democrat like Joe Biden wins another narrow victory in 2024? Are you going to see Republicans in the House and Senate certify the Electoral College results? I tend to doubt it, because a majority of Republicans already this year voted not to certify those results. And if they have the majority, they could prevent President Biden from winning re-election. They could toss the election to the House, and there, because they control a majority of the state delegations, they could elect Trump. This is not crazy, folks. We got to wake up and realize he remains a clear and present danger to our democracy.
And Max, you don't tend to believe it. You fully believe it, because you wrote an entire column about it in the Washington Post with the headline, "The Republican Plot to Steal the 2024 Election." But the delusion that you mentioned, Max, of Donald Trump about being, you know, coming back to the White House sooner rather than later is a delusion that is shared. Charlie, have a listen to Sidney Powell, Trump's former lawyer. Listen to what she had to say.
It should be that he can simply be reinstated, that a new inauguration date is set. And Biden is told to move out of the White House, and President Trump should be moved back in.
Child, please. Charlie, can you please explain what, I mean, she said that with a straight face, with all seriousness.
Well, and the My Pillow guy is even more serious about it. He's predicting that the U.S. Supreme Court is going to vote unanimously 9-0 to reinstate Donald Trump later this year. And here's the bad news. The bad news is that Donald Trump obviously is listening to them. Look, this is deranged. This is delusional. What you're seeing here is this doom loop of crazy on the right, in which you accelerate these narratives that used to be just in the far reaches of the fever swamp. But look, even though an idea is fake and it's crazy, does not mean that it is not dangerous. So Max is talking about the clear and present danger of Republicans stealing the 2024 election. I think that the danger is more clear and more present. Look, this is an extension of the big lie that led to the January 6th insurrection, and that I think has the potential of stoking more political violence. There are millions of people who are listening to this, who are believing this. Whether Trump himself believes he's going to be reinstated or not, it doesn't matter. Millions of people believe it. And this is going to stoke the outrage, the anger, the disappointment, the disillusionment. So, you know, things are in a really volatile state here. And I am concerned about this extension of the big lie. The fact that the former president of the United States, who could be president once again, is listening to the deranged rantings of a Sidney Powell or My Pillow guy, is disturbing on every possible level. And once again, you see absolute strategic silence from most Republicans. Liz Cheney is absolutely right. As much as they would like to ignore him, what's happening right now is dangerous. Even though that speech last night was very low energy, it is still quite dangerous, and the damage is very real.
Rev, and despite what Max and Charlie are saying about how dangerous this is, there is one person who thinks that what Donald Trump is doing actually is going to hurt Republicans. Have a listen to what Frank Luntz said to Kara Swisher on her podcast at the Times.
This could cost the Republicans the majority in the House in 2022. What Donald Trump is saying is actually telling people it's not worth it to vote. Donald Trump single-handedly may cause people not to vote, and he may be the greatest tool in the Democrats' arsenal to keep control of the House and Senate in 2022. If the Republicans lose the majority in the House, they will lay the blame at the feet of Donald Trump for telling people it's not worth it to vote.
What do you make of that assessment, Rev?
Well, I would have thought that was a very good assessment for the Democrats until last night's speech. Let's be clear. Donald Trump said last night that he will be campaigning for people that share their values in the midterm elections. So I do not think that Donald Trump that told people don't vote in Georgia in 2020, according to what he said last night, is going to be inactive in 2022. And when you look at the fact, I think the real danger of Donald Trump is not he is deranged and listening to deranged people. I think that's clear. The danger is that millions of people are listening to him while he's listening to deranged people. The largest vote for president in the history of the United States happened last year. Joe Biden got more votes than anybody in any election in our history. But the number two person was Donald Trump. To think that those many people are listening to him and they're not going away by next year, that is what is frightening, and that is why we need to really sound the alarm and get people to come out. Because had it not been for the biggest turnout in American history last year, Donald Trump would have been reelected. And let's not underestimate the amount of people that are listening to Donald Trump.
Right. And Max, to further Rev's point, not only did Donald Trump get the second most votes ever, despite everything horrific thing he did in 4 years as president, jailing babies and all of those things, he got 12 million more votes in 2020 than he did in 2016. We're not being hyperbolic here, are we, Max?
We're not. I mean, this is truly one of the most frightening facts about modern America. It's truly inexplicable. It really shakes my faith in this country. The fact that you had the most catastrophic presidency in our history with 400,000 people dead of COVID-19, the economy in shambles, and Trump still won millions more votes than he did in 2016. I mean, that shows you what a skillful demagogue he actually is. And his ability to hornswoggle millions of voters should never be underestimated. So right now, there's a temptation to kind of write him off and say, hey, he can't even get enough people to make his blog worthwhile. Nobody cares about him. He's a freak show, a sideshow. Even Fox News isn't covering him live anymore. But, you know, I've heard this kind of commentary before. Nobody took him seriously in 2015 or even early 2016 when he was running for the presidency. I mean, that was a time when the Hillary Clinton campaign actually wanted Trump to win the Republican nomination because they thought he would be so easy to beat. So let's not make that mistake ever again. I mean, it's perplexing, confounding, and very disturbing that he maintains his popularity with so many people in this country, despite everything that he's done wrong. But it's just a fact, and we have to own up to it.
Charlie, in the 30 seconds we have left, let me throw up this Reuters Ipsos poll that I keep coming back to, it seems like, for the last 3 shows. Charlie, 53% of Republicans think that Donald Trump is the actual president. What? Charlie, just go. Explain it if you can.
This is why the right wing's doom loop of crazy is so frightening. And to Reverend Al's point, yeah, I mean, the fact that the president might believe this is one thing. The fact that there are literally tens of millions of Americans who apparently think that he is legitimately the president or willing to say that is an indication of that this is real. And we can joke about it. We can roll our eyes about it. But we've seen what this can create, and it's not going away anytime soon.